We hope you all are happy. Beautiful. Life is what we make of it.
Yes.
I have here with me Michelle Del Bosque.
Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Del
Thank
Bosque is the mother of Alec Michael Del Bosque.
you. Yes.
Alec, Alec Michael Del Bosque was murdered in Odessa, Texas. He was gunned down multiple times. And his mother is here today to be the voice for her son and other victims as well. She
Yes.
is seeking, desperately seeking justice to bring her killers, her son's killer, to justice so the family and Michael may be at peace.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
you're welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
And as everyone know, you know, sharing our stories of with um, mothers, sharing our stories of our son's murder and telling the world what happened to our children who has been murdered, gunned down in the streets, getting no type of justice at all is very, very sensitive for us.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
ask that you support us along the way and support Michelle here as she share her story.
Yes. Thank you. Where do we start, or where do you want to start?
Yes, Michelle. We can start wherever you feel comfortable. But first of all, I would like to ask you your about if you can tell us the great things you know about Alec before you go into details of what happened to him, who murdered him.
Yes, ma'am. Alec was 18 years old. He had just turned 18 August 6th, 2020. And we had an ample amount of police reports that we had filed with our Odessa Police Department and our Sheriff's Department. Um, we were trying to figure out what was going on. Our houses kept getting burglarized, our car and homes kept getting shot. We didn't know what was going on. We tried to work with the police to try to get help to see what was going on. Um, we it's just so hard, to even talk about because we called them so many times, the police, and nothing ever happened. And on Halloween night 2020, Alec went to a Halloween party and he didn't make it back home. He was gunned down in his vehicle and he was shot multiple times and had more than like 30 bullet holes in his car. And he was found at a gas station after, and he was pronounced dead November 1st, 2020. Um, so far, all the police say is that Alec got into an argument with someone at a party, and he was gunned down multiple times. Someone was arrested about 18 days after Alec's murder, and but he was released in May of 2021. Um, he did not end up getting charged with murder for Alec. Why, I don't know, honestly. I just know nobody was charged with his death. 3 months after the guy was released from jail, he was arrested and given life in prison, but it wasn't for Alec. So currently, we are seeking justice and pleading with our community for help. It was a party, and there was um, hundreds of witnesses. And so we're really confused as to why no one was arrested. We were told that at least 20 people would be arrested in connection with his murder. Never happened. Only one person was arrested and then released later. Um, we've gone rounds and rounds with the Odessa Police Department, the Ector County Sheriff's Department, trying to figure out what happened to our son, who killed our son, who murdered our child, and why there's no justice, why nobody's been arrested for his murder. It's hard to be here at home and not have him here. As you can see behind me, I have photos everywhere of him to keep him alive because to us, he's not dead. He's gone. It's almost as if he was kidnapped. Someone took him from us and we're trying to find him. We're trying to figure out the who, the what, the when, the where, the whys, and um, we're really confused. We read an article and on it was an article on Facebook that we saw when the perpetrator was arrested, um, and he was given life in prison in November of 2021. The article said that a grand jury chose not to indict him on murder charges. So, as a family, we want to know why. Why was he not indicted on murder charges? What happened? What went wrong? What can we do to get the indictment rolling again, to get someone charged, or do we need to present it to a new jury? That's where I'm at right now, and wanting to know, and because he deserves justice. He was a young kid full of life, just graduated high school a couple of days before he was murdered, the week before actually. And he played baseball, basketball, football, ran track, wanted to go to college to play sports. Just a really good kid, had good grades. Um, we're just we're still just in shock that he's gone. It'll be 2 years this year, and every day just seems like yesterday. As and understand that part.
Yeah.
When you lose your children, and
Yes.
every day seems like yesterday. So it's like,
Yeah.
yesterday we lost him,
It
and
doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't go away at all
oh man,
either.
no.
So Michelle, Alec was gunned down multiple times. How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
times? Um, okay, you said they shot at the car multiple times, but how many times did he get hit
Um,
by the bullet?
well, the death certificate says multiple. When he died, I I clothed him. I changed his body for the funeral. I wanted to see his body. When he came into this world, I clothed him, and when he left, I
Yes.
wanted to clothe him. And
Yes.
for parents, it's really hard. That was a very hard decision for me to make. But I wanted to see what they did to my baby. I wanted to see how they hurt him, where
How-
they hurt him.
The pain, the suffer that he suffered. You wanted
Yes,
to.
ma'am.
It's almost like you wanted to take that pain from him and put it on
Yes.
yourself and just take it from him and just bring him back.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I sure did. And I couldn't let him go in the ground not knowing what I knew what happened to him. I knew he was shot, but where? That was the whole where. Nobody's going to lie to me and say, and I've been told by the sheriff's office multiple times that he was shot one time
Mhm.
when I clothed him and changed him. They can correct me when I'm wrong, and I'll correct myself as well when I get the autopsy report. But I saw 6 holes.
Mhm.
I saw 5 to 6 holes in his body.
Mm.
So to
You
us
know,
as a family, it wasn't just a shooting. It wasn't an argument that someone shot him. It was an ambush. It was they shot at him and wanted to make sure he was dead.
yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. So the guy that they arrested for his murder, he was released
Yes, ma'am.
and then took him back into custody for another charge.
Yes, ma'am. For
Then, then they
gun.
gave him life in prison for a whole different other charge.
Yes, it says that he got life in prison for 11 grams of cocaine
Okay.
because they
Um,
revoked him on a charge, and so I guess he had some charges piling up, so they gave him life. I don't know if he has eligibility of parole or anything, but I know he was given a life sentence.
mm. So is it that they? Why do you think they let him go? Do you think they felt? Is it that they felt they didn't have enough evidence?
Honestly, I don't know. As a mother, yes, that's what I think. I think
Mhm.
the case wasn't put together properly.
Lack of
Uh,
malpractice too, as well.
I believe so.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, most murder cases are being malpractice, a lack of malpractice, and it's not being thoroughly investigated because they don't really, care too much about us in the beginning. You
Yes.
know, I mean, they don't care too much about us. So by this guy being charged for another whole case, convicted with life in, charged and convicted and getting life in prison. Do you feel that that's justice for your son?
No, ma'am, I don't. I really don't. We didn't go to court. We didn't get our time in court. We didn't get to see justice served for our son. We never were told, this person murdered your son and he's going to jail for the murder of your son. It was just, he got life in prison, and kind of like, kind of deal with it type of thing. We got him for unrelated charges, and this is your justice. And it's not, it's not. We still have a billboard out. We still have that you can call, the Ector County Sheriff's Office with any information about his murder. So it's not solved to us, and we don't have the nature of the details and what happened. So we never got to see it go to court to even know what actually happened to our son.
Wow. And I know that had to be painful, to see someone be arrested, being released, and then going back into prison, being charged with a whole nother case,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
as, as if did the DA ask you to feel, to accept that as you and your family seek getting justice.
Yeah. And to us, it's not justice,
How
and,
could
and,
they,
and
how could they even ask that? How could they even want you to feel that, to accept, something like that?
it kind of goes back to what you were saying. If it's not happening to them, they're not kind of concerned or worried about it. Just another statistic, another dead person. And it's just another job to some people, and to us, it's our life, it's our children, it's our passion to want to know what happened. It's our passion now to figure out who hurt our children, and how to get help for our children and make sure that these people don't hurt other people's
Others.
children.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
is one of our biggest main concern, that other people in the community, families, will not encounter the tragedies that we have,
Yes.
the pain. Um, were there other witnesses there at the time that your son was murdered?
Yes, ma'am. There was someone in the car with my son as well, and there was multiple people who were witnesses that I thought that were going to have to be subpoenaed, to go to court to be witnesses. But the sheriff's office has not really communicated with us very well. When they went to court, we weren't invited, so we didn't know anything about what was going on, what was happening, what was the nature of him being released. Nothing at all. Just when they gave him life on unrelated charges, I was given a phone call and they told me that they gave him life, and they also told me about several other people who had involvement with my son's murder that was also going to do prison time as well, on unrelated charges.
Mm. Mm. It's horrible. And do you, as a parent, do you feel that everyone at the scene should be held accountable?
Yes, I do. Everybody that was involved, everyone who broke in my home, who shot up my home, leading up to my son's death, I believe they should all be held accountable, or be considered accomplices to murder.
Did they, for the people who broke into your home, have they been caught?
No, ma'am. They haven't done anything to anybody for any of our shootings, for any of our burglaries. We're talking quite a few at several different homes, at two different residents of ours. And our car was shot up 3 to 4 times, I believe, before my son was even killed in our home as well. That's what we couldn't understand. And the people that were on our police reports are also considered people that were involved with my son's murder as well. So
Mhm.
that's what we have a hard time, trying to figure out is, they're on every report we have. Why aren't they arrested? Why aren't they in jail? At least for the burglaries or the attempted murder on my son leading up to his death.
Okay, so the people that burglarized your home and shot at your home, were they in the report at all?
Yes, ma'am.
For they were in the report. So
Yes,
are
ma'am.
they still walking around free?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. And this is in Odessa, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So this is another big problem that we have. Um, us victims is with the laws. The
Yes.
laws are not strict enough, and
Yes.
the laws are keeping murderers, criminals, violent criminals free to
Yes.
go out and convict more. I mean, to go out and do other crimes, to go out and murder other people. Families have been impacted in a horrible way by these criminals who keep going into jails, and then they just let them right out. They go in for a violent crime and they just let them right back out, and they come back out and then they take our children from us. Guns are being placed in the wrong hands in communities
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
street. And since 2020, gun violence has risen. It always has been here, but it has risen. And during that time of 2020, when our legislators have seen how gun violence has risen, they should have put strict laws in place to decrease the violence in our neighborhoods and communities and with people, and just to stop letting people get away with murder.
Yes, I agree. And
And,
I'm not against guns, but gun reform. Some of these weapons don't need to be in the hands of anybody. There was an AK or an AR involved in my son's death as well, so um, we don't need them type of guns. That gun can
mm,
shoot so many rounds at one time, and are hurting innocent people and taking them from us. So I really want to talk to our state representatives here in Texas, to talk about um, kind of like, with like a domestic violence type laws. When you call the police so many times, the state comes in, they pick up the case, and they pursue the charges. What about when it's not family, it's not domestic, it's someone that's trying to hurt you, to trying to trying to kill you? What type of laws do we have in place? Like, for instance, for my son, had we called so many times, why weren't these kids arrested? I have way too many police reports, at least more than 9 to 13 with the Odessa Police Department. Why didn't the state kind of kick in and say, hey, we're going to file charges on these kids? This is ridiculous. Nobody's home should be shot up that much, or their vehicle. You know, uh, it, we're just dumbfounded by the lack
yeah,
of help, the lack of help in our community.
yeah. There's a lack of help in damn near every community.
Yes.
If it's a Black community, Latino community, Mexican community, there's a lack of help. Um, it's like the system just want to see us destroy each other,
Yes.
And I'm not against guns either, but I am against guns being placed in the wrong hands of the wrong people who are not in the right mental capacity, because they have prisoners that go in for murder, but they come back out and they're not in the right mental capacity, and they go back out and then they just murder again. So that is what I am against, of guns being placed in the wrong hands. I do believe as citizens, we should be able to carry weapons and guns for protection, self-defense, for criminals like the ones who are not in right capacity and shouldn't be carrying a gun.
Mhm.
And that's what I am against.
Yes, ma'am. The boy that was charged with the murder at my son initially, he was a felon, so he had no business with a gun to begin with either. So
Yes,
that's where we go back to the guns getting in the wrong hands.
a trigger happy felon,
Yes,
is what I trigger happy felon. And I don't care, like, you said your son was at a party, right?
yes, ma'am.
He was
He
murdered.
didn't even get
Yeah.
off his car. He was shot in the car. He wasn't even out of his vehicle. He was trying to find a parking, and these boys got kicked out of a party, supposedly for having weapons on them. And when my son was driving off or driving to find a parking, there was lots of traffic, back to back traffic, so he couldn't get out of there. And he saw them, I guess, and he told his friend, like, they're coming, be careful. And next thing you know, his car is rippled with bullets all over it.
Do you and your family feel that your son was set up?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. There was several girls involved, several guys, getaway drivers, drivers who chased my son until they got back to him, and they got off their vehicles and made sure my son was dead in the car and shot multiple more times at the car. So this was like an assassination. I say it all the time. It was an ambush and an assassination.
Yes.
We didn't just live 7 months getting shot at almost every other weekend and can't and not call it an assassination of some sort because they were so adamant about wanting to kill him. And I called the police all the time. I was trying to keep up with the detectives, but they weren't taking me serious like at all. And they're still not. And he's dead, and that's the hard part about it is, why did we let it get that far? Why not we, as in me, but as officials of the community, as far as police or chief police or the sheriff of our county, why wasn't it red flagged as to what's going on, these people are in their home, why is this happening, or why weren't these kids ever picked up and arrested? I
Yes.
just can't understand that they couldn't find
Girl,
them or they didn't pick them up.
yes. Yes. Yes, with the thorough investigation.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Thorough.
felt like they didn't even investigate at all. They weren't even trying, it was just kind of like, oh, there's another report. There's another report. We'll take it. Thanks, but didn't really investigate. I felt like if they would have, my son would still be here. He'd still be alive. And I've talked to several people at the sheriff's office, and they say the same thing. Your son's death should have been preventable.
Very much. And I agree with that. From your story, I truly, truly agree with that. It could have been preventable. And I feel that, there should be a law put in place for when someone is murdered and whoever is there at that crime scene should all be held accountable, held in custody until a thorough, thorough, thorough investigation is in place.
I
And
agree.
yeah, because it's just, if once they stricken these laws, it would decrease the crimes,
The
the
crime.
gun violence in our communities.
Oh, yeah. I think
Yes,
so too, because then someone will say like, "Oh, did you see that they gave so and so so much time or so much?" It'll scare these kids into not wanting to hurt people.
yes, because it sounded like your son didn't make it to the party.
No, he did not.
He didn't make it to the party, so it sounds like it could have been set up, and that's why our youth today need to be very, very mindful of who you get in the car with, who you pick and choose to be your friends, the company you keep. And that's a message out to our youth. Be wise and
Yes.
be wise of who you choose your company wisely.
Yes,
Choose
ma'am.
your
I
company
agree.
like you choose books. Choose it wisely.
Choose it wisely. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. And yeah, so I hope and I pray that you get justice for your son.
Yes, ma'am.
And as we all, us angel moms, we are all seeking justice for our son, and we will get justice.
Yes.
And that is a promise.
Yes, ma'am. I receive it. I believe it by faith. I take it in
Yes.
for all of our children. I don't believe that they shouldn't get justice. I believe that they deserve justice.
They deserve
They
justice.
deserve it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to continue to spread awareness for your son,
Thank you
Alec
so much.
Michael Del Bosque.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
he's a very handsome boy.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
handsome. He just looks so happy.
Yes, he had such a beautiful smile, and
Yes, I do
um,
love that smile. Just you just took the words right out of my mouth.
yes,
Like he
and
looks so
his
happy.
energy was just magnetic.
Yes, you can just see the energy. You can feel it. Like,
Yes,
um, he just graduated from high school before his
yes,
death,
yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, yeah, he had just graduated and had so many goals and so many dreams, and it was just taken too short. He
What
was
was
just
his plans? What was his plans after graduation?
he had so many he wanted to weld with his dad. His dad's a welder, and so he was welding, and He also wanted to open up like a shelter for dogs. That boy would pick up every stray dog he found on the streets, and he would bring it home and say, "Mom, you got to feed him. We got to take care of him." So he always was very nurturing.
Wow.
He would bring people home, that didn't have families all the time, and say, "Mom, they don't got moms and dads, or they don't, they live with their grandma, but they don't got nobody, or, these are your kids now, Mom, I'm bringing them." And my house was always so full of boys, and we loved them all so much. And we lost Alec, but we were blessed with so many of his friends that have been so good to us. Um, and reach out to us all the time and check on us. And because we're all kind of still mourning together, we're all still hurting and missing Alec so much. And it's just, a good time when we can get together and talk about Alec. It's kind of hard. You know how it is, talking about your children to people. They don't
Yes,
really understand once you lose them, and you kind of lose them. They don't want to be in those kinds of conversations because they're depressing, they're sad. But when others love your children, or they understand what you're going through, we all enjoy to hear about our children, and who they were, and what they were to
yes,
us, what they mean to us, and we have to keep their light shining, and their glow alive,
yes.
and I'm afraid that's denial too. We ain't ready to let them go. I'm not ready to let him go,
No, and
but
we're not letting them go.
no.
They say, some people believe in, we have to let go. We have to let go so we can be at peace. Well, I believe that if I let go, I will never be at peace.
Yeah.
But if I hold them in my heart with me every day, everywhere I go, that will keep my children alive. And
Yes.
yes, they hold a place in our hearts, in our family, our loved ones' hearts, and they just bring light and peace and love, you know, keeping their names alive. So
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe in letting go. We would
No.
never let go. We would seek for justice. We would get justice, but we would never let our children go.
Yeah.
So we would never give up seeking justice. And like you
No,
said,
there's no
I
way.
totally agree with you. They do deserve justice, especially with the senseless gun violence, because these children are being murdered by their best friends. They're being
Yes.
set up by people who they thought they trust. And then they set them up, murder them, and then they come up with a plan, a lie, and schemes. And then some are afraid to speak and talk and reach out. And that is why everyone will be and should be held accountable
Yes.
for the murder of our victims.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. And I would like to thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing Alex's story here on the Regina Queen Show, as it is so essential for other victims as well. Being the voice for your son and other victims, you are so brave for that, because most angel moms don't have the strength. And I don't, criticize no angel mom who does not have the strength to be the voice for their child, because it takes a lot out of us after losing a child. But you are here driven to your purpose to be the voice for your son and others. And sharing his story will open up other angel moms' heart to share their son's story, to keep their children's names alive as well, and to give them strength to seek justice and not give up hope.
Yes. Yes, I agree. He played sports his whole life, so I was always in the stands cheering him on, cheering him on. Go Alec, go! And now it's justice for Alec, justice for Alec, and I will not stop till my baby gets justice. I will scream it from the rooftops. Justice for Alec.
Yes, yes. And I agree with you. I'm with you 100% all the way to spread awareness, seeking justice for your son. His picture, posters, everything will be here on my platform
Thank you.
every single chance I get. I will post him up and help you seek justice for your son by spreading awareness for your son, as I continue to seek justice for my son and other victims as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Yes,
so much. And I
yes.
pray that we all get justice for each and every one of our children and each and every one of us. And I send out big prayers to you. You are so strong for what you do, from everything you've been through. I couldn't even imagine. And I
Thank
just
you.
thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
thank you too. I thank you so
Yes,
much
ma'am.
too. Yes. Is this really, this is really a very sensitive topic for us, and that's why I always thank the Most High for giving us strength to be here, to be the voice for our loved ones. And
Yes.
the way us moms connect is so powerful,
Yes, ma'am.
So who can overpower angel moms?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody, nobody's gonna.
Right? Yes. Yes. And my son just have this, I'm just like, after saying that, I'm looking at your son. He's just like, right on, Regina Queen. Like I feel his energy. Like you're so right about his energy. You could just feel it with this
Yes.
beautiful smile. And I love our babies. I
Yes,
really
ma'am. Me
do.
too. And I just thank you so much.
Yes. And
We
before
will
we
exhaust
go,
every resource, that we can, to scream the rooftops for our babies and our children in hopes that, people will do the right thing, what's right in God's eyes. And, what's bound on earth will be bound in heaven. We have a maker that everybody has to answer to as well, and I'm keeping my faith in my maker. And Alec was a very firm believer in Christ. So I know my baby's up there rejoicing with all the other
hmm,
angel mom
definitely.
babies, and they're all together saying, look, my mama's, with Regina, or
Yes.
Alec, your mama's with Regina.
Yes. Look at our moms. Like,
Yes, yes, I
yes.
agree. They're all cheering us on.
Yes. And we need for them to cheer us on. Their strength is
Is
our
our
strength.
strength. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. And I would like to ask you, Michelle, um, do you feel, and I just feel this question is very, important to know, um, do you feel that um, you're getting the type of support from advocates, like the community, advocates in the community?
For Alec,
Yes, like are the advocates, are you receiving any type of support from advocates in your community, because we do have advocates in our communities, and I just would like to know, do you feel that advocates are being helpful to you?
I really don't have any advocates that have helped me in the community. I really get the door slammed on me a whole lot. As soon as I mention Alec or his case, nobody wants to talk to me at all. Um, so no, I haven't. I'm a part of child loss groups, and also speaking with a lady that helps with like bullying in our community and suicide prevention, and she's been very helpful and very supportive, and my local church as well. But other than that, that's it. Not from like
Mhm.
local law enforcement or um, anybody from victims assistance or anything like that. No, ma'am.
And not even the community advocates. The community advocates are the ones that I'm targeting. Like what I
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to know, like from the community, because you do have advocates in the community.
No, ma'am. I haven't received any help from any advocates.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So yeah, um, well, I'm an advocate, and I will
Thank you.
be advocating for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
I sure will. And if there's anything you need, please reach out. Reach out to me, and I'm here.
Thank you so much. And I'm here for
Yeah.
you as well. You need anything, and I got you like you got me. We have each other's back, and we're angel moms now.
Yes. Yes.
And I
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
all the support, because it feels good talking to people who understand your journey and what you're going through and your hurt and your pain. It's not foreign to you. You're familiar with it.
Yes, I'm very
Not that you
familiar.
want to be, but, you know,
Yes. Like it's crazy we have to meet like this,
yes,
on this accord, but it's okay. We are here, and we are the strength for our children, our babies.
yes, ma'am. And so I said,
Yeah.
I know they're in heaven cheering us on,
Yes.
and your babies with my babies,
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes. And
appreciate it.
so
Because
yeah.
you are from California, right?
Yes, I'm
You're in
California.
California. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And I'm way over here in Texas.
Yes, yes, and, that's what I said, is just so super powerful, you know, but, just to reach out, from other angel moms in different states, so,
Yes.
yeah, so can't stop the power of God. you know?
No, you can't.
Yeah,
Oh
you
man,
can't
you
stop the
can't.
power of God.
No.
Yes,
Or a mother seeking justice for her child.
yes, yes, and yes, and so yeah, and we have some comments here before we go. I would
Okay.
like to post up these comments. Okay, I see you at work. Okay, that was a friend of mine, Bruce Crenshaw, and he's just saying hello. And then we have Vernon Davis here, and he asked you a question. He said, let me put my reading glasses on. Said, have you initiated a wrongful death against the police department of that county? Because it sounds like you have a case. Basically, they admitted their fault.
No, we haven't. We need help in that department, I guess you could say. When you start calling people and it has to do with public officials, a lot of times people don't want to get involved. So right now, we're at the point where we are seeking help in that area to get help and justice for Alec, and also for wrongful death as well, because it wasn't right. We know what happened to him, and we just need help. A lot of help in that area.
And that answers your question, Vernon Davis. And Tracy Craver, she says, justice for your son. God bless.
Oh, thank you so much. God bless you.
And she said, yes, we stand with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. We really thank you all so much for being a part of our show today. And we really, really honor and appreciate you all. And if anyone know anything, if you know something, please say something. If you know anything about Alec Michael Bodescu murder, he was murdered in Texas, Odessa, gunned down multiple times in October of 2020 at the tender age of 18. So if anyone knows something, please say something. Reach out to Crime Stoppers. The number is here on the screen. Or you can reach out to his mother and family at her Facebook, Michelle Del, Del Bosque.
Martinez Del Bosque.
Martinez Debowski.
Yes, ma'am.
Please reach out to Michelle. Repeat your name.
Michelle Del Bosque.
Yes. And you can reach out to Michelle Facebook as well. But please, if you know something, say something. You can be anonymous. We need justice. She needs justice for her babies. He was brutally murdered, and it's not fair for the killer, to walk around free out there murdering other loved ones, murdering other people. It could be your loved one that he could murder. It could be someone that's very close to you. So please, if you know something, please say something. Help Michelle and her family, Alex's family, get justice. Call Crime Stoppers or reach out to her on her Facebook. Thank you so very much. We really
Yes, and I want
appreciate
to
your
add
time.
something real quick. If the sheriff's department says like they're not taking information, please give it to someone. Don't stop. Keep calling. We've run into a lot of problems with that, where they're kind of declining information, saying that the DA's office has it, and then saying the sheriff's has it. So it's a lot of back and forth. But please just call Crime Stoppers and give them any tips that you may have, any information. That way, it'll be given to the right department and where it needs to be given.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us today. And we want you all to have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed day. And
Yes, thank you.
yes, and you continue to follow us, follow me here, um, Michelle, and this lock arms, and we got this.
Yes, ma'am. And please, everyone, go support Regina and everything that she does. She does wonderful work and has a wonderful cause, and her women empowerment and domestic violence and gun violence, and she does awesome work. And thank you for being that voice for others and for us so we can get our stories out there. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. From Texas all the way to California. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. United Women Empowerment Against Gun and Domestic Violence. United we stand.
Yes.
Sisterhood Nation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.